So here's a double displacement reaction, but I don't like double displacement reaction. I don't like calling it that as much as I like calling it a precipitation reaction. So we look on the reactant side. It's already balanced for you. You've got a product, but we look on the reactant side. We have a solution. The other reactant, we got a solution. And on the product side, we have something that stays in solution, and we have a solid that's formed. So, question? 25 milliliters of 2.5 molar silver nitrate is added to 32.5 milliliters of 1.29 molar potassium phosphate. How much precipitate is formed? So you read a question like this, you've got, we know that the precipitate is silver phosphate because the equation's here. If you were looking at this problem and you didn't know which one was solid, you would need to look at your solubility rules. Potassium nitrate is definitely going to be aqueous, whereas phosphates tend not to be soluble. So what I did is I took the volumes of each solution and I used the molarity as a conversion factor to figure out how many moles of silver nitrate and moles of potassium phosphate were there. So for the silver nitrate line, 3 moles from the equation, 3 moles will form 1 mole of silver phosphate, and 1 mole weighs 418 grams. We get 8.72. So what that means is this volume of this concentration silver nitrate can produce a maximum of 8.72 grams of silver nitrate. Now we look at the potassium phosphate. We have 32 milliliters, 32.5, and it's 1.29 molar. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So 1 mole of potassium phosphate forms 1 mole of silver phosphate. And it weighs that. And we can produce 17.6. So again, this whole line means this volume of this concentration potassium phosphate can produce 17.6 grams of silver phosphate. So then you have a question, well, how much is actually formed? And if you do it like this, you just pick the lower one, right? They both of the amounts of reactants can produce 8.72. But once you make 8.72, you will have run out of the silver ions which are necessary for silver phosphate. So your limiting reagent is silver nitrate, or more specifically the silver ions. The silver ions run out first. So you got a limiting reagent and or limiting reactant, and your excess reagent is potassium phosphate. More specifically the phosphate. Anything else?